A man was arrested and faces several charges after court documents say he threatened to kill a pregnant woman and cut her baby out of her stomach. Police responded to a domestic disturbance yesterday in Thief River Falls and found a woman who said she was pregnant with the child of Justin Vasquez Concepcion, saying they had just gotten into a fight where he physically assaulted her and threatened to kill both her and her baby. He was arrested and brought to jail where he faces threats of violence charges and domestic assault charges.